Candace Owens' mental ward.
You don't get to ask those questions.
Padded cells, delusions, hallucinations.
What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared?
Psychosis, paranoia, conspiracies, straitjackets. What do all these things share in common?
This video really caught me off guard. As many of you well know, there was a debunked memo that went around, and it was supposedly from TPUSA paying people or influencing people to go around on their platforms and say that Candace was demonic and satanic and all these kind of things. I saw that, and I know that happens. It's very common, not just against Candace, but against other people as well. So I didn't think a lot of it. And then I'm watching Jonathan Cahn, and this video comes up, and he's talking about Candace Owens being demonic or satanic. So, of course, I had to look deeper into this and see what this is about, because this is a major shift. If it's going to religious figures, like large religious figures with huge accounts and millions of followers, millions of people reading their books, this is very interesting. So let's look into it. First, I was very curious who was saying these things on social media. So, of course, we have Ben Shapiro. He's specifically saying that Candace Owens is evil. He's called her actions absolutely satanic and described her as a true vampire and labeled her as a conspiratorial evil person. Then we have Meghan McCain. She referred to Owens' attacks on Erica Kirk as pure, unadulterated effing evil. Tim Pool described her own actions as a effing evil scumbag. Steve Deese dedicated an episode to it. What we're seeing now is satanic, calling her a satanic slanderer and full of satanic. Then we have Ian Miles Chung. He's saying that he labeled her as a demonic grifter, demonic, and accuses her of unspeakable evil and evil lies in the Kirk-Trump context. Then we have Kaya Jones, stated Owens has opened up a can of worms on her spiritual state. It's almost demonic, and urged prayer for her demonic state. And it's really important to remember, too, that a lot of this started at the same time. In fact, there was a post that had several of these things going out the same day. So obviously, this is coordinated. And then we have religious figures and pastors, like Pastor John Amanchukwu. He publicly called Owens evil and demonic on stage. And we're going to check that out here real quick.
So contrary to what Candace Owens is saying, who's spending her time trying to tear down the legacy of Charlie Kirk, fighting against Erica Kirk, his wife, I mean, you have to be cruel and demonic to insinuate the things that she has insinuated over the past several weeks. She's evil. That's what it is.
So as you can see there, many have discussed in the past, these leaders, these political leaders and these religious leaders, specifically within TPUSA and TPUSA faith, were attacking Candace Owens in this manner. They've also attacked Tucker Carlson. Initially, they were saying this was because of Erica Kirk and the fact that she is a widow and those type of things. So we'll get a little bit more into that with Jonathan Cahn here in a minute. It's really important to realize that this went beyond Erica Kirk. This was more of like a anti-Semitic type of thing, right? So they're saying that Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens were anti-Semitic, and that's why they were demonic and that kind of stuff. That particular video clip was specifically about Erica Kirk, and we'll see more of that too. But it's interesting how it's kind of like a huge, wide swath of what's making her demonic and Tucker Carlson demonic. And I just want to say too, think of all the people on social media and everywhere else, newspaper articles, all the people that are talking about Erica Kirk and the strangeness around what she does. You have Baron Coleman, another very large podcast, talking about it daily almost. And the only person they're attacking is Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson here and there. So what is it specifically about Candace that makes them go after her? Is it because she has the #1 podcast and they're trying to make an example of her? Because you have to remember, there's literally hundreds or thousands of people all over X and YouTube talking about all this content, questioning Erica Kirk, questioning Israel, questioning TPUSA, yet Candace is taking all the attention. And interestingly, this also goes to major news outlets. USA Today, Candace Owens is so desperate for attention, she's turned evil, says it's an evil smear campaign. New York Post reported and amplified that she's been pure evil for her Erica Kirk series. They call her depraved. Sky News Australia explicitly stated Owens has been branded pure evil in coverage of the Kirk attacks. IUS.com, multiple pieces and comments saying she is evil, hidden behind human flesh, wickedly evil, and morally skewed. Hollywood Reporter and CNN, contextual coverage noting Shapiro, Bongino, Rubin, and others using strong condemnatory language, including evil and satanic parallels. CNN specifically notes Shapiro and Poole called her actions evil. There's also floods of users and small content creators, many of them related to TPUSA or the exact same larger accounts that are pushing these narratives, calling her full-blown demon, demonic piece of demonic horror of Satan, and demon-possessed. Podcasts like Turning Point just called Candace Owens evil and demonic. National Review discussed the possibility that she is evil. It's also very important to note that this is from the right, okay? Left-leaning or mainstream outlets, for the most part, are calling her anti-Semitic and conspiratorial, but they're not using that specific evil demonic framing. But the right is. So remember, the Trump side of things, the MAGA side of things, the conservative side of things are saying that she's evil and demonic and satanic. So it's become very clear that this is a coordinated attack on the right against Candace Owens at all levels. We're talking about news, all social media, podcasters. We're talking about religious leaders. We're talking about churches. We're talking about TPUSA. And for something like that to happen, they're either doing one of a few things. They're either protecting Erica Kirk for some reason. They are attacking Candace Owens for something specific. Maybe she knows something. Maybe they think she's going to expose something. I'm not sure. And then the third option is that they truly believe this. They think that she is demonic and evil for going after Erica Kirk and saying the things that she said. And we'll see a few reasons why they might think that if that's the case, but we don't really know 100% which one of these three things is why. And I also want to be clear too that Candace Owens has challenged many of these people and they have not accepted. She's challenged them to debates about this Erica Kirk information and also debates just in general about everything that they're saying about her and these lies that they're saying she's saying. So I would assume at any point they could accept that and they could debate her on live television. But let's get back to Jonathan Cahn, because like I said before, I've followed him for a long time. I've read his books, and a lot of his prophetic teachings and things affect millions or billions of people worldwide. So let's look back to see what he's saying about Candace.
Let's do a thought experiment. Imagine you have somebody saying to you, it's all a conspiracy. Every week, a new conspiracy. Every week. And that says that the wife of the president of France is actually a man with no evidence, who says that Jews, or implies Jews, go around killing children or abusing children. Says that the Christian ministry of Turning Point was actually involved, or in some way, in the murder of the leader of their own ministry, or in the cover-up of it.
Now, I want to make it very clear, and I know Jonathan Cahn probably knows this. I know he has some notes and stuff that he's reading off of, but just remember that TPUSA is not a faith-based ministry. He just said that Candace accused Erica Kirk of killing the leader of a faith-based ministry. Well, TPUSA Faith is separate from TPUSA, and Charlie was the CEO of TPUSA. Okay, so I want to make that very clear that you have to separate TPUSA and TPUSA Faith. Even though Charlie had some involvement with TPUSA Faith, his main focus was TPUSA and politics and speaking to the youth.
So the police apprehended the man whom his trans boyfriend reported as suspicious, but with no evidence that the man's murder was done by his own ministry, implying that his wife was part of it in some way, saying that behind the assassination of JFK, John F. Kennedy, in 1963, were the Jews, were the Israelis. It says that, well, on and on and on and on. Someone's telling you that every week. You would say that this person most likely should be committed. You would say the person should be in a mental ward. In fact, that's the kind of thing, just the kind of thing that you will most hear from a person in a mental ward. Somebody in a straitjacket, or being sedated, or given shock therapy. Now, people in mental wards, mental institutions, will have issues. It's a tragedy. And we need to pray for them and hope they get good help. But you don't spend your days listening to their babblings or psychotic hallucination and babblings.
So if you listen to what he's saying here, his implication, even though later he tries to basically say that he's not saying that she's crazy or demonic or satanic or needs to be in a mental ward, which he's doing the same thing that she does about Erica. He's strongly implying it and influencing the people watching that is where she belongs. But it's very interesting that he's painting her like she's a mental patient. The main reason why I think that is because you have to look at all the other people who are talking about this. Why is he not speaking about everyone who's saying this? Why specifically just Candace? Now, if he said, for all the people out there, all the people that are talking about Erica Kirk, all the people talking about TPUSA and Andrew Colvin and Blake Neff and all these people, if he were to denounce all of them and say that all of them are demonic and they should all be in a mental ward, then that'd be different. But he's specifically talking about Candace Owens, and that's why this really caught my attention.
The ravings of somebody who is a lunatic or is suffering from mental illness.
They took this clip of her acting a certain way on purpose, obviously exaggerating in her clip, and then they're adding this dramatic music behind it. They're using manipulation of the effects to make it look even more crazy. When you see stuff like this, you have to be really careful because this is like COINTELPRO, like the media trying to manipulate you using imagery and words and common themes. As we've seen across the board, all these people are saying she's demonic and satanic and everything. So stuff like this, while you consume it and his message says what it says, I don't take anything away from his message, but just be careful that when you consume this stuff, that you are using your own instincts as to whether this is a campaign, like a paid campaign, pushing a certain narrative, or if this legitimately comes from a good place.
You know, it might have music, but it's still, in essence, lunatic babblings of a person in a padded cell. It's equivalent to that. You might say, well, I like the music. I like the editing. I like the production values. Yeah, but the thing is, it's psychotic and it's demonic. And the thing is, it doesn't matter because in the end, that's what it comes down to. That's all it is. It sows confusion among those who listen to him. It sows division among Christians and ministries, even hurting the support of ministries seeking to do God's will. You might seriously question if this person is demonically possessed or demonically influenced.
Now, again, he was just pointing out the imagery that she was using and the music that she was using and all that stuff in the editing to make it, intriguing. Now you see here's yet another image of her with, I'm assuming this is some drugs or crack pipe or something, and she looks like she's all strung out like she's a junkie. So in essence, doing exactly what he said she's doing, they're just manipulating the people. So again, you have to look at this stuff and ask yourself, like, is this a legitimate thing? Or is this like a campaign that's being paid for and pushed?
It says, the Bible says he rages against the nation of Israel, the Jewish people. It's there in Zechariah. It's there in Revelation. The dragon wars against the woman who gave birth to the Messiah. The devil most especially hates the Jewish people, and Israel slanders them. So is it an accident that Candace Owens has been taken by a spirit that rages against the Jewish people?
So based on that statement, it would seem as though he's saying that she's demonically possessed by a spirit that is against Israel.
The Bible says, whatever's true, whatever's noble, whatever's right, whatever's pure, whatever's lovely, whatever's admirable, if anything is excellent or worthy of praise, let your mind dwell on those things.
Listen to this.
What Candace Owens is doing is not noble. Is it right? No. Is it pure? No. Is it lovely? No. Is it admirable? No. Is it excellent? No. Is it worthy of praise? No. Is it true? No.
So I would just say to that, is it true? Remains up in the air, right? Until the court stuff is done, until all the research is done, the investigations, until all of that stuff is done, we don't know what's true or not. But based on where he's coming from, he's saying that based on biblical texts, that what she's doing is demonic and satanic and not Christian-like.
Therefore, if you are in any way seeking to follow the ways of God, you must have nothing to do with what she's doing. Nothing to do with that channel. It's dark, it's evil, it's sick, it's toxic, it's harmful, it's dangerous, it's demonic, it's defiling, and it's sin. Belongs in a padded room.
So if you watch Candace Owens, or if you are any of the people working on the Erica Kirk research or the Charlie Kirk research or anything about the case, if you question anything outside the official narrative, if you are against anything that TPUSA is doing or has done, including all of the illegal things that they have going on, including the pastors within TPUSA faith that are convicted of abuse against children, If you're against any of that stuff, then you are demonic and people should not watch you or follow you. And again, why is he only targeting Candace Owens? I wanted to see if Jonathan Cahn has ever worked for or with or spoken at a TPUSA or 2PSA faith event. So let's search this real time. I'm just doing this right now. Has Jonathan Cahn ever worked for or with TPUSA or TPUSA faith or any related companies? Also, has he attended or been featured at an event? We give it a second here. Here's the results. No, Jonathan Cahn has never worked for, been employed by, or held any staff, board advisor, or official role at TPUSA, TPUSA Faith, or any of that. He operates independently. Okay. Yes, however, he has been featured as a guest speaker and attendee at TPUSA, TPUSA Faith-related events and media. Key examples. He spoke at the TPUSA Faith event, part of the Christian Sphere of Influence event, over multiple nights and days at Grace Church, St. Louis in Missouri, around 2024. The official local TPUSA Faith account promoted it explicitly with posts like Night 1 with Jonathan Cahn Day 2, and TPUSA Faith hashtags describing unique sermons and exclusive interview. Grace Church STL St. Louis also listed him as a special guest speaker. He appeared as a guest on the Charlie Kirk Show, a TPUSA production in 2023 discussing themes from his book, The Return of the Gods. He is also scheduled as a featured participant alongside TPUSA Faith Director Lucas Miles and others like Franklin Graham and John Bevere in the upcoming America Reads the Bible Echoes of Ezra event in Washington, D.C., slated for April 18th through the 25th of 2026, a National Bible Reading Rededication Gathering. So as we can see there, he does not work for them, but he works with them. He's spoken at events and he has things that are scheduled to speak at coming up, which makes me ask the obvious question. Is he part of the campaign that some people claim has happened or is happening against Candace Owens? Because the timing is interesting. Obviously, he's a strong religious leader. He has a huge influence. He's very pro-Israel, obviously. So it's interesting that TPUSA Faith and TPUSA pastors and staff and mouthpieces are coming out and saying that she's demonic and satanic. And then you have Jonathan Cahn, who is affiliated with them, has spoken with them in the past, has spoken at their events, has attended their events, and has scheduled events coming in the near future, now coming out also saying that she's demonic and basically belongs in a mental ward. Now, he says in his video that he can't exclusively say that she belongs in a mental ward, but he says that people that act like her are often seen in mental wards. So what does this all mean? Is this part of the campaign that we've seen against Erica Kirk by supposedly TPUSA, the allegations that they had like a smear campaign that they created against her to counteract the Erica Kirk research and things that are going on, and the video series, obviously? Or is this him genuinely concerned about Candace Owens and what she's saying in her faith and her spirituality and what could happen to her if she continues on this path? I'm not going to play Jonathan Cahn's whole video and do commentary and that kind of stuff on it, but if you want to see the whole thing, I'll link it down in the description. But here's kind of the key takeaways from it. So he says the conspiracies, all of them, like the French president's wife and Jews killing and abusing children and that kind of stuff. He's saying all makes it seem like she should belong in a mental ward. It's the ravings of a lunatic. He links the similarities between mental illness and demonic possession and connects continual patterns of accusation and slander as diabolos, devil, accuser, slander her. Then he talks about this spirit that rages against Jewish people in Israel and says that maybe she's possessed by that spirit. He says specifically attacking Erica Kirk, the widow, and her fatherless children is very low. He says she claims to be Christian but hates Jews while Jesus is Jewish. He says her content is dangerous. Watching it exposes you to craziness, not saying she is possessed or ill for sure, but the pattern matches and empowers evil. And of course, that's for legal reasons, right? You don't want to slander because you could be sued for defamation and that kind of stuff. And then tuning out the dark side with scripture. Her content is not true, noble, pure, right, honorable, which we saw. Don't empower evil. Giving clicks, views, or listening empowers slander, gossip, and the enemy. She is cursed for cursing Jews and Israel, warring against ministries, slander, and attacking a widow and fatherless children. It will not go well on Judgment Day, he says. The judge is Jewish, Jesus. Pray for her deliverance from the spirit. So, of course, my next question was, how often does this type of thing happen? How often are widows and children of the fatherless affected by the father or the boyfriend of the husband being killed and the wife or the mother being indicated, right? Because it's not uncommon for the spouse to be the very first person that police investigate, or the FBI or whoever is looking into the case investigates. That's very common. I don't think in the Charlie Kirk case, I haven't seen anything yet that has indicated that there's been any type of investigation at all into Erica Kirk whatsoever. So I look for cases. Are there cases that are similar to this where the woman kills the husband? So we have Jodi Arias. She killed and stabbed her boyfriend. We have Betty Broderick. She shot her husband. We have Clara Harris. She ran over her husband. Brendan Hartman. I mean, these are very high profile cases showing that the wife has killed the husband. It's obvious that this happens, right? This is semi-common. So you have Stacey Castor. She poisoned 2 different husbands. Pamela Smart. She orchestrated the killing of Gregory Smart. There's a lot of Black Widow cases where a woman will kill multiple husbands, not even directly herself. She'll have other people do it. She'll hire them. I wanted to ask, though, specifically because the indication of a lot of this research that's going on around Erica Kirk is not necessarily that she did it, but that she coordinated with other people to have it done or allowed it to happen, something similar. So I said, are there cases where this has happened? Pamela Smart, she did not shoot her husband herself. She manipulated someone else, a 15-year-old student, and convinced him and 2 teenage accomplices to break into the home and kill Gregory Smart with a shotgun. Patricia Reggiani, an Italian socialite and ex-wife, she hired a professional hitman to assassinate her husband. Mary Ellen Samuels, she hired hitman James Bernstein to shoot her estranged husband, Bob Samuels, and it was for a $500,000 insurance payout. We know that there's allegations that there was a life insurance payout that was going to happen for this case as well. Betty Newmar, Black Widow, the 76-year-old was formally indicted for hiring a hitman to gun down one of her 5 husbands. Investigators believe she may have arranged or benefited from the suspicious deaths of the others as well. In every one of these cases, the woman stayed physically removed from the actual violence and used others to do the dirty work, often for insurance money, revenge, or control. And maybe that's why people are looking into this Erica Kirk situation. There have been a lot of strange things from the past. Obviously, a lot of it brought up by Candace Owens, but there's stuff that's been found by many people. Like I said, there's hundreds or thousands of people looking into this, and they're sharing information between each other. There's websites dedicated to it. So it's interesting that there's some parallels in what they're saying could have happened. Again, we don't know 100%, but let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Do you think that these attacks on Candace Owens, including this new one from Jonathan Cahn, do you think that they are coordinated? They all seem to have TPUSA or allegations of connections to TPUSA behind the scenes. And with Jonathan Cahn, I figured it was like a direct spiritual thing, and it made sense when he was saying it by what she was saying. If Candace Owens is incorrect, that there could be some biblical indications. But then when I found out that he was speaking at and connected to TPUSA, then that raised a couple eyebrows, right? So let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this around. And you can find ways to support the channel down in the description. And I'll see you in the next one.